All right. And we're on. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Meta-Factorio. Today, I'm going to continue working on the Pathfinder, which means that I'm going to be trying to make sure that my guy doesn't bump into trees as he runs around. So, to demonstrate, we already have the feeler happening. So you see the red squares that stick out are feeler. But as he runs past or near trees, if any trees or obstacles hit the feeler box, then they should produce a steering force that steers him away from that obstacle. And you see right here, it should be pushing him around to make him turn around to try and avoid the water. But obviously it's not. So today we're going to work on the collision detection inside that box, and then what to do once we detect a collision. Alright, so let me see. So we have the feelers set up. We have the where the feelers need to be. We're setting up all their positions, and then we have the if there has not yet been a collision, which we don't actually need. We can break once we get a collision, but that's okay. So we found the collision area, go to the tile. Okay, so right now we're detecting a collision with an impassable tile. So if the center of the box, oh no, this would be the top left of the box, wouldn't it? So if the feeler box gets onto an impassable tile, then we detect this tile position. I think I want to offset that to make sure it's totally right. Oops. My desk is a horrible mess. Okay. So I actually I figured out that what I want to do is get the relative bearing from the direction that I'm heading to the obstacle that I'm colliding with. Oh, good call. There should be plus field width divided by 2. And to do that, I can use the same bearing code that I have for calculating my bearing to the target. So I'm just going to reuse that. I'm going to make that function a little more abstract. Just prematurely optimize a little bit here. Okay, so what is this? Get bearing to target. So I'm use the get bearing to target to find the bearing to that tile. Okay, and then I'm going to subtract my bearing from the tile's bearing, which will give me a negative number if it's on my right and ahead of me, and a positive number if it's on my left and ahead of me. Okay, what was it? Self.current bearing. Okay. And then, based on how close that is to 0, because 0 would mean it was directly ahead of me, and which I as in which feeler I'm up to right now, I want to affect my turn rate, my turning a little bit. Okay. So let's implement this part of the get bearing to target. Okay. Alright, I'm just gonna write out some logs here, just so we're going, making sure it's working. It's gonna be debug. Great. Then we will jump back to our control.lua and just set the debug level to debug. All right. And now hopefully we get a point where we run into. Oh, yeah, programming is hard. There's too many languages, too many different representations for logical and all. Okay, hopefully the target that I set is way past all that water, so we'll be able to get down there. But while that's running, let's jump into script outputs. Okay, cool. So we found the collisions and we got the bearing offset for it. Collision detected at a particular location, and it's going to be the same the whole way up. And then my bearing was 112, and I found the collision at minus 32. Thinking. That would mean that the bearing to the actual tile is pretty much exactly 90 degrees. Which is perfect because that means that he's standing right next to the tile, and it's one tile to the east, right? Maybe it's 80 degrees. Yeah, 80 degrees. It's not that bad. I mean, it's going to be some variant on that, but I mean, at least it's in the right quadrant, right? Like minus 32 means it's on his left. If it was on his right, that would be weird because it would be down here then. Okay, great. So now I have this relative bearing. I need to figure out what to do with it. So I don't want to do an exact equal. Well, actually, you know what? Let's just be crazy. Let's just do an exact equal. What does this end to? Oh, for the for loop. Wait, is it for the for loop? Yeah, that end is for the for loop, I see. So this handles if the player needs to turn, and then the player has a max turn rate. But we also want to try and steer them away from any obstacles. So, do we default the current bearing at the top here? Yes, we do. Okay, great. Well, let's just do that. Let's just do the relative bearing. Okay, so I'm doing another subtraction here. So the first bearing, the relative bearing, is going to be negative if I have to turn left, which means that if I do current bearing minus relative bearing, that's going to add degrees into my current bearing, which will make you turn right. And if it's positive, then I'll be subtracting it, which will make me turn left. And then my max turn rate is here. I may need to tweak that to actually see some effect, but I should see him starting to push against any obstacle that gets detected. Now the other thing that I want to do is multiply this relative bearing by this number I, but I don't really know how much to affect that by. So I might need to like functionally abstract, like pass it, provide some function that takes I and gives you back the multiplication factor, and right now it would be 0 or 1. Yeah, and then in the future it would go down, but yeah, we'll see. Alright, so let's see if this works. And remember, it only works for impossible tiles right now, so if I don't have any water on my map, I might need to restart. Yeah. Here we go, perfect. Am I going to clip this edge of the water? Probably. Okay, nearly. Water might be a tricky one as well, because if he sees this tile, he might try and turn like north to avoid this one tile. Okay. But if we open up the log file, see if we can find out where he first, oops, where he started hitting the water. Oh, up is where I want to go. I'm paging up a page at a time right now. Oh boy. Oh, there it is. Okay, so my bearing was 118, and then I turned by a -3. So it looks like it didn't have any effect. Then the obstacle was directly ahead of me, and then it was on my right, but it looks like I keep... Yeah, my bearing stays pretty much dead on. Yeah, I may need to do something slightly different to handle water terrain obstacles, because really what I want to do is treat the whole shoreline as one obstacle, and so then the computation for like which way I need to turn, I need to actually be a little bit more sophisticated about it, because I need to think about like the projected beam of my motion reflecting off the water, rather than right now I'm getting to it and it's very unclear which way I would need to turn because it's based on the tiling system. Okay, so let's just remove that output log file. Oh, I didn't realize you could move that. That's cool. Okay, so this is kind of working. But I need to, I think also, if this is directly in front of me, this is the other thing. If this is directly in front of me, my relative bearing is going to be 0. And I still do want to turn, if that's the case. So I need to make this like inverted, right? What's going to be the best way to do that? Well, let's just take out the tile possibility for now, and we'll look at the collision with entities, so collision with like trees and stuff, because I think that'll be a little easier to reason about and a little easier to verify that it's working. Okay, so what we want to do now is get all the entities that are in range. I always forget what this method is. Surface. Find entities filtered. I don't know what that was. Hopefully it wasn't something important. Collision area. Just take a quick look at the entities, yeah. Oh, maybe it'd be under trees. Hmm. Yeah, so type tree. Have I looped around yet? No. Jeez. Oh. That's type tree. Okay, so dead tree is also in type trees. Type tree. Dry tree is type tree. Can we do like, but I want to do like type equals something tree. Okay. So I think from this, it's telling me everything is trees. Fire. Oops. I don't know where all the other trees are going to be. Is it a doodad? No. Okay, well, I'm just going to call it, I guess I could do this. Copy. All word. Only in selection. No, I want to find the file. Such. Okay. Alright. I trust you. Okay, we can just do this, because Lua. So if there are more than 0 entities, that means that we found something in our find entities filtered function. Hopefully, well, I guess I'm filtering by tree. I was gonna say hopefully I don't detect myself, but we're looking at trees only, so. So if there are any entities, then we want to get that position, the position of that thing, we want to get its bearing, we want to get its relative bearing, and then we want to subtract its relative bearing from our thing. Oh, we could also do like 1 over I for a multiplier, and that would like divide. So give you a softer turn as you start off. The other thing is though, I'm doing my player steering after this, so maybe I should just move this stuff up to the top, and then my steering force will always apply afterwards. That would probably work as well. This creates the feelers. I'm gonna probably move all that into a. Probably makes all sense for all these things to be in their own function, especially all this junk. Okay, so if there are any entities, I guess we want to accumulate. Well, let's just look at the first one for now. We'll consider the edge cases later. Okay, so so let's go entity bearing. This is going to be entities 1 position. This would be entity collision. This would be terrain collision. Okay. So I'm only counting my first has collision here. I think that's okay. So I guess I want to do something different here, and let's make it real easy maybe. You just call it like, multiply bearing based on relative bearing, and okay. Functional abstraction. Move to point task. Multiply bearing. No. Okay, so let's just do that for now, and then we can start tweaking those. Get rid of this. We can start tweaking that in a moment, but hopefully we should be able to hit some trees, and we should get some messages coming out saying that we're hitting trees. Oh, here we go. Huzzah! Okay, tile bearing. I left a variable in there because I did a fucking copy paste. Yes. I thought I got them all. Alright, I got them all now. I'm going to change this log to be info. It is going to spam a lot, but that's okay. And then I go back to my control. Put this back to info. Because I don't need to see myself updating my bearing all the time. Okay, great. Entity collision. So I'm actually getting some zero bearing here, which is interesting. And then it looks like my steering force is taking back over, turning me back to the left again. Okay, so to counter this, that's not the one, this one. Let's change the max turn rate down to like 3 degrees. We could also mess around with this guy, multiply bearing. Have some factor. Let's do that. All right, so let's do times. I'm thinking what I'm going to do in here is going to do like 1 over I times bearing factor. So that means that the bearing factor, if the bearing factor is 1, nothing will change, and if the bearing factor is greater than 1, then it'll be more effect for the bearing. Of course, I was inconsistent with my naming. Make it 1. All right. So I've turned down the, oof, that chunked the frame rate. Move to point task, 32, attempt to compare nil with number. Wait, what? Line 32. How would... I don't get it. Because if the target.x is nil, then this wouldn't work. So the error should be on line 26. Oh. Okay, I'm done. Capital letters, too hard. Well, that was an unfortunate start. I would love to know why this was chucking so much. Is it because of the logging? And he shouldn't be getting stuck here. It looks like he's trying to turn right. But I wonder if it's because he's like hitting this tree here. But it'll do 1 over I, so it is implemented that there will be less turning force from a further thing. Further feeler. I also have the if not has collision. Oh, I never said has collision. Okay, so it is hitting all 5. Oh no, I do say it has collision. Well, I said it there, I didn't say it on the other one. So this is the dude here, by the way. He's just sliding back and forth on that tree. This is actually a really good test case because he's not actually stuck, and he's trying to get out, but he's always turning back. Oh, there we go. Wonder what happened there. Wonder what changed. That was weird. I don't know why my frame rate was so bad for that long. Okay, so I actually liked it being slow. I just wish I could see his game.speed. Try and clear up some space so I can see those direction rectangles, but that is futile. Because for some reason you can't see here anyway. Okay. I'm gonna try a new one and then hopefully we'll get the same situation again on a different tree. So that I can see the feeling rectangles. Nope, that's gonna be the water. Good on you, guy. There we go. So in theory, the turning should compound on itself. So once you start turning away from something, it should make it easier for you to turn away from it, right? Because like it's on your left, so you turn a little bit left, and it's on your left still, so you turn a little bit more left, and then you're past it. Looks like what's happening here is he's flip-flopping back and forth, and that's causing him to get stuck. I'm wondering if it's something to do with the centers of the Oh shit, game speed affects the console? Why? Alright, well. So the other thing that I just realized is that the player position is going to be here in the top left. The tree position is going to be here on the top left of the tree as well. So it's going to be coming down through here, and then this hitbox is going to be like collecting the tree. So what I really want is to center the tree and the player hitbox. Okay, great. We're back to the normal, regularly scheduled movement. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to halve the player's position. So, I mean, entity's position. Hang on a minute. Did I fix that? I did. Okay, very effective. Great. All right. No. Here, entity position. So that's going to be x equals entities 1 position.x plus. It's going to be plus the left component of their top left collision box. I don't know if entity has collision on the entity or if it's on their prototype. No. No entity prototype collision box. So the left top x is going to be a negative number, so I actually want to subtract that to make it go... Oh no, that means their position will be at the center of them. Damn. That means that was not the problem. Probably still be for the player though, so let's just jump back to the player. No, because the player's collision box extends to the left as well, which means that their player's position is correct. Okay, then maybe I just need to dial up the turning force. Maybe I just need to like make that ridiculously large for now, and then we'll see what happens there. Okay, he's definitely steering. We're trying to go down to the right. Excellent. We're going to hit that water before we get anywhere. Boop. And now we don't hit any trees at all. Oh, here we go. Trees. So he hit this tree, flipped around, and now we're hitting these trees here. So now I think what I want to do is multiply the really close. Let me just do that. Multiply really close things using this bearing. No, not bearing factor. Well, kind of. So I'm already doing this, right? How can I make this even more of an impact? So given 1, you're going to give me a very large number. I have to make this I plus 0.99 or minus 0.99. Yeah, minus, because that would take you. This would take this down to be very small, right? I'd rather not mess around with that too much. So I guess what exactly is happening here? So he's stuck here. This first box is detecting 2 trees. I should only be looking at 1 though, and then he's turning this way, detecting this tree, and then turning that way, this tree turning that way. But if my face is right on a tree, I want to have a pretty severe turning force. But on the second one, I want it to be like really quick drop off. Maybe I just need to continue to tweak this bearing factor until it works. Not 305, 3.5. We'll find the right magic number eventually. Ooh, so close. If you could get through this gap, it'd be totally fine. Okay, definitely still gets stuck in trees. It almost looks like he tries to go towards trees, which makes me think that I have something flipped. Let's turn off my collision rectangles because that is very noisy. Definitely looks like he's like snaps on to going to trees, which is not right. Did I mess up my math? So one thing is if this current bearing minus entity bearing, no, that will go negative. Okay, that's okay. So if that's negative, that will subtract from my current bearing. Oh, hang on. So get bearing to target is going to give me... I need a diagram. So here's what's happening, I think. My get bearing to target function is designed to work for player location. Player locating a target. And if the target that you're trying to go to is up here, right, then the bearing you get should be like 300 and something, right? Because it's this angle all the way around. Here we go. That'll give you that angle, right? The problem is, when I'm trying to do my pathfinding thing, I want it to be a negative angle, right? I want to actually get this angle in here. So if my current bearing is whatever, and then my bearing to this target is okay, no, this is okay, okay. So if my target is going to be a green dot. So if my target is here, T1, then my bearing is going to be like this, right? Which means that, what the hell? So weird. Right, this is too loud. Okay. So that's which means that the difference, this is going to be like, what, 270 plus 45, so like 305, 315. And this one's going to be a bigger number than that, which means I'm going to get a positive, right, between here, positive angle between there and there. Then if I was to go the other way, so if my target is actually up here, right, then my bearing is going to be something like, I don't know, 350. Why does that never go small? Whatever. My bearing is going to be something like 350, which is going to be bigger than this, which means it's going to be negative. Right. Now the problem is, the problem would happen if I was on the left. Like if my target's over here and my obstacle's over here. Because then I would get some weird crossover of the 360 line. So that could be bad. But if this is negative, then I want to add some more to make myself go to the right. Right, which is what I'm... The worst thing is when you do the math again, you've realized, and you think you're right again. So this is going to be a bigger number, and that's going to be a smaller number. No. If I subtract the entity bearing, right, I do need to flip that. Okay, now this is going to be a smaller number minus a bigger number to give me a negative bearing, and then I would add it. And then the other way around, if this is a bigger number minus a smaller number, bigger number minus a smaller number, I'd get a positive bearing. Got it. Hopefully that was it. And now we just perfectly navigate through trees, right? Oh, here we go, it's a good test. Maybe that, maybe the fact is a little big. Let's get down to, let's just go to like, actually let's just go to 1 and see what happens now that I have the math correct. Even 1 might be like too jittery. Oh god, there's a fucking lake. Why are you just running directly into that now? When my bearing is supposed to be this way. What does the log say? Did my log die? Oh, it's a very, very small... Oh, maybe that's my problem. It's so small it's not having any effect on the bearing. Okay. In that case, here I feel like I want to return 1 over I times some turn amount. Like, just who cares about the... I guess I need to know what direction. So I want, like, the sign of the bearing. Does Lua have a sign? Oh, that's so awesome. This is so weird to me that the AND operator gives you back the value that you put in here and not the like Boolean true or false. Lua is a weird language. All right, so we get the sign of this thing first. Local sign. Fucking stupid language. Okay. Then we're going to return sign times 1 over I. Is going to change, then times collision turn rate. Something like that. So let's define this. What's our max turn rate? 3? Okay, so let's just do like 10. That's going to be like serious turning if you bump into a tree, and then if you're further away from a tree, then it'll be a little bit less. Okay. Interesting that this happens, but it doesn't actually have a... Ah. Okay. That's pretty rad. Okay, so the problem is now that my bearing is not being clamped. So it's like winding up way past 360, and then as it rolls back down again, it's coming back down again. Okay. So, let's do clamp bearing. If I do mod 360, will that give me what I want? I think it will. If it was a negative number mod 360, does it work? I can never remember. Lua Rebel. Why does it always give me Python when I jump into this? Lua. Okay, so let's say that we get up to like 370. Mod 360. Okay, that should clamp me back down to 10. Excellent. And let's say that I somehow get to like negative 20. Mod 360. Okay, That's pretty much perfect then. And if I'm at my normal operating agreement, perfect. Alright, I'm happy with that. So this is just setting my current bearing to be a sane number every tick, just to make sure that we're okay, before I figure out what direction. So after I apply all the steering forces, before I do the direction, and then we're good. Okay, great. So let's restart. Cool. Oh, look at him go. Oh, he's avoiding the trees like a fucking champ. Woo! Woo! Everything's working. Man, that is satisfying. Oh, that was a bit of a over. Why are you doing that, friend? He's gonna run right into this bite nest and die. Keep running! Don't stop! Rip. Haha! He died. And so the other part of my code broke. Okay, so why is he doing that? So he's running south and sweeping back and forth with the steering. I think I know. I believe it is this part here. Yes, handle going from 359.9 to 0 degrees. So I think what's happening is that he's running to the southeast, and then his target crosses over to be west of him. So then he starts running back, and then his target crosses over again. But he's trying to turn around to get back to north. I think that's just a function of having the max turn radius be a little too small. Because if he could turn on a dime, then... Let me just put this back to 10. The problem is that if I give him 2... Oh, I guess if that's okay, because I'm doing my steering afterwards now. Okay, so I can set this up to, like, pretty high. Yeah, I'm doing the steering force steering after the player steering, so... Let's see, hopefully, looking on the map, there are no trees in the way, so that's going to be problematic, but... Please don't get stuck. Oh my god, you fucking jerk. Okay. I'm out of coffee. There we go. So maybe that's a bit too much. We could also change this collision turn rate. Actually, we'd make the. What if we change these both in step? We could also do something like make the collision turn rate 10% higher than the player's max turn rate, and so then the collision force, the steering force, would always like override. This looks like it's working okay though. The other thing that's a little weird is that the player's bearing is driven by the actual direction to the target, but obviously the player can only move in one of the cardinal directions, or one of 8 of the cardinal directions. You know what I mean? It should work pretty well. This looks like it's working great. Oh, he escaped the trap. What? We did it. Alright, and with that, I'm gonna go get some coffee. I will be right back. of course, I get up to go and get coffee, respawn him, and he spawns in a dense forest and is totally stuck. There we go. Cut down one tree for him. You get one. You need more than one. I don't really know what the best way to handle dense forests is. I guess we could start by applying the force for all the things that get collided with, so then we'll get a cumulative collision for a lot of stuff, and that might have a bigger effect. Okay. Let's do that. I really want to get to the point where he's able to like make his way through. Okay, so let's do, we can just do for J entity. Whoa, how the fuck did I... Whatever. Okay, so now we're going to be adjusting our bearing by the multiply bearing, which is going to be huge. But we also have this j variable now, so this is going to be the nth, like the jth time that we've gone through for the one thingy at position I. So we could also do a division by j here. This is going to be at entity position. Come on now. Okay, relative. This is going to be entity. Okay. I guess this is a little bit unfair because we're not like sorting them at all. So if there's multiple entities within that hitbox, then we're going to treat them all even. We're going to assign them a random order and then treat them in order of precedence of that random order. So it's not totally fair. And it's not maybe not totally correct to do that. But we'll figure out what happens. So we're going to pass in a j parameter here. J equals j or 1. And then here we're going to do times j. No, times 1 over j. So that is going to basically drop off by half every time. Well, not quite. Drop off by 1 over x. Okay. And I spawned in a tree, doesn't? Look at this map. Trees all around, but not where I am. Love it. Oh, he's trying. Can't make it. Okay. I think the difference, I think when we get into this situation, we just need to make the collision turn rate a little higher than the max turn rate. Let's try the max turn rate, plus 10%. Because I think what's happening is the turn rate is like pushing him. Oh, here's a good test. And totally screwed. Okay. Let's do double. So that should like kick him all the way around if he's bumping into something. Okay, handling single trees, no problem. We also need to do the same thing for rocks, by the way. This is a cool water formation here. Show me the collision rectangles. Where are we getting stuck on here? So we're not actually hitting anything, we're just like freaking out because there's something right there. Of course, the problem is going to be if I hit something in one frame, next tick I've turned, and there's something else there, and so I try and turn back the other way. If it doesn't actually move between frames, or if it moves a very small amount, then that would be one source of the freak out. Apparently I'm giving Twitch's encoder issues. Or maybe it's my encoder. Maybe OBS is not liking all these red rectangles. Oh. Congratulations, there was no trees in between you and where you started. Alright. Get him out. Oh, do it. You can do it. Get out. Get out. Okay. Okay, so situations like this now where you have trees in every direction and it's just causing you to spin around in circles because they're all pretty much equally distant. This tree, and these two trees, I think is what's causing the problem. So if your turn rate is too high, then you get into that weird situation. The other thing we could do is add like a cooldown so that he has a second to recover. No? Nothing? Alright, let's add a cooldown for the turn so that he doesn't like totally flip out. Okay, so this is going to be if oh, no, because that's going to be per tick, right? Let's say like 10 frames. And then on each tick, we want to say... So if we have a cooldown, oh, this is if we don't have a cooldown, or yeah, if we don't have a cooldown or the cooldown is 0. If we do have a cooldown here, we want to reduce it unless it is 0. So this is if we have a cooldown and self-turn cooldown is greater than 0. That's going to be equals this one. Alright, let's see if that fixes it. Let's see if it does anything. So now he'll only get a steering force once every 10 frames. Function items expected near, or what? 74. Oh, this is a dot. I will say I'm really glad that Factorio is smart enough not to like just crash the game when you have this shit go wrong. Move to point 74 bracket. 151. Oh. I do need to return something here. So yeah, in the case where I am on cooldown, I'm just going to return 0 because I don't want to do anything else. So I think cooldown of 10 is maybe too long. Yeah. See here, I want it to be like kick me all the way around. So now I think we could dial up the max turn rate a little bit. Maybe make that 2.5 again. Not max turn rate, the collision turn rate. Oh, he's doing it. Navigating the forest. And stuck. But you notice how he kicks once every 10 frames? He's like, you will not take me. Forest. Collision turn cool down. So I do want it to get, I guess you want it to be like, if he can recover in 2.5 frames, you want this cooldown to be less of that, right? Because you want to give him, you want to make him like push away and then like slowly come back. So we can make this like, well, if this becomes close to like 50 times this becomes close to 360, then he's gonna just like spin. Which is not what we want. But the cooldown does need to be near this factor, right? So I guess we'll make that 2. It'll give you 2 frames of cooldown. And then we need to use this value in here. Okay. Apparently forests are really, really hard. Really? Okay, maybe the cooldown thing is not a great idea. Maybe there just is no way to autonomously path through forests like this. Like if you spawn in a dense forest, like I don't really know how to get out of it. Okay, so here I'm being pushed away from the trees. Put that collision rectangle back on. Okay, as one more thing, let's try, before I get frustrated. So for the projections, right? I think what I would like to do is put my feelers on the cardinal direction. So the actual direction that I'm going to be moving, not the direction that I'm going to try to move. What this means is that my feelers will go out on like northeast, southwest kind of directions. Which means that I'd be clamping my current bearing to the closest 45 degrees. Okay. Let's try that. Okay. Yeah, so it's less than what the current bearing minus the clamp amount. If it's greater than what the clamp amount plus. Okay. And then everywhere in here where it says self.current, we want it to be feeler bearing. I mean, maybe at the end of the day, I just have to be happy with forests being too. So I should be able to see now. The feeler will clip between. Nope, it's definitely still moving. Oh, there we go. Ha! That is hilarious. Hilariously sad, but it's hilarious. The I times feeler width times X ratio. I don't really understand. Shouldn't the X ratio and the Y ratio be like? I don't get why that was continuous. This is cool that back to 0, right? Oh, maybe that is southeast. Okay, well, let's just get back to like the best working state that I had, and then I'll call it for this little exercise because I think I want to get back to doing more strategic stuff. So I don't want. Where is it? Here we go. This one I could do that mod 45 thing. Don't want that. Don't want any of that. Don't care about the cooldown. Do want the sign. Okay. And then back in tick. Where's tick? Here we go. Turn cooldown. And then turn cooldown. Don't care about. And then bearing factor. We don't care about. Right? I think we do. Correct. Okay. So the two knobs that we have here are this max turn rate and the collision turn rate. And at the moment, I have the collision turn rate as a some kind of a factor on that. And I don't want it to be too small, because otherwise he gets unable to escape. Like he'll overshoot his goal and then just like wiggle back and forth forever. Now see, in this case, I feel like it's too, where is it? It's a little too sensitive. Let's do a debug of this guy. So we'll add up all of these guys and then we'll subtract them at the end. Okay. Okay. Guess we'll just do if total starting point is greater than 0. Okay. So we're detecting collision. Why am I not steering? Oh, wait. Surely we're not hitting multiple things. And they're all canceling each other out. Alright, let me get rid of that if. Oops. Watch as there are no obstacles whatsoever in this map. I just want something in between, okay? I just want, like, a light scattering of trees. Oh, I got out. Okay. So I think the next step to get this done will be to maybe gradually apply, based on the distance between the center of the feeler box and the distance between and the center of the obstacle that we're colliding with. And so if that is a very small number, then we would want to do a larger steering force. So we want to include that as a factor on our steering. The other thing is we're obviously applying factors of the max turn rate, which is maybe not correct. I guess the distance is going to be based on that, how far we have to turn. So I guess I could include that bearing back into it. Because I have this bearing here that I'm not actually using. I'm only using it for the direction. So I could do... Okay. Abs, bearing, and the collision turn rate. So now I'll turn the smallest amount necessary. I might need to multiply this by a little bit to just push it around, but we'll see. And I spawn inside probably the densest forest I've ever seen. Stupid. Okay, let's bump this up. 20%. So I think it works great when you're trying to navigate around this stuff, around just like loose trees. Being in a desert, it's great. Works very well. The problem is when you have more dense trees, like this. What else would I need to include here? I guess the distance to the tree, which I'm kind of handling with my eye. If I is 1, then I'm going to be multiplying by that. I don't know. It's all too hard. I think we could probably just go with this is okay for now. What we might do in the future is like, if you run into a, if you get stuck in a forest, have some way of getting out of the out of that being stuck situation, like shotgunning the trees down would work. I mean, this works pretty well to steer around individual loose trees, and if I get some spawns that are just really bad, then maybe that's just too bad. The other thing that might be problematic as well is the, I'm not considering the hitbox of the tree. Am I going to get stuck here? Yes. Because really maybe what I need is the closest point to me. Maybe that's what my obstacle needs to be. The closest point of that thing to me. Which for rectangles would be pretty easy because there's 4 corners, right? So I really need to worry about. Seriously, this is cool. Core and copper and iron ore mixed together, living together. Because right now I'm just considering the gooey center of the tree, whereas really what I care about is the edge of its hitbox, and that could be part of what my problem is. Because if it was steering away from the hitbox, then it would be better maybe. All right, I'll compute that too. Okay, so we have the entity. So really what I want to do is get the closest entity point to the target. So, okay. And now everywhere that I use entity position, I'm going to use collision position. That's my scroll bar. Okay, so now I just need to create this function, and it's going to take a player and a position. No, this one. Player and an entity. So I think I could do this pretty easily. Like if my x is less, then I'm on the left. If player position dot x is less than entity dot position dot x, we could even start it off with result equals x entity dot position dot x, and I have a reason for this: entity position dot y. Then result.x equals entity.prototype the position.x plus collision box dot left top dot x. Because I'm on the left, so I'm on the left side of the collision box. Else if player position dot x is greater than entity position dot x, then I want to modify this to be the right bottom. So I want the right-hand side. And in the case where position X equals position X, then I'm just going to leave the X as the entity's position X. So that's why I left that like that. Okay, we want to do the same thing for Y. Collision boy. Alright. So if the player's position Y is less than any position Y, then we're going to do top left Y. The reason I do plus here is because the collision box is a negative number for the left hand and top side. So this should do it, and then here just return result. Okay. So now I have the closest point to me that the target is. Yes. Oh, I wonder if that will cause me problems. I think that will cause me problems. Because now, if I am... If this is me, and this is the tree that I'm bumping into... Well, let's do it more like this. This is the tree that I'm bumping into. This is going to be the center of the tree, which is previously what I was calculating, because I was here. My bearing is going to be like that. Let's do a line. So that was going to be my bearing before. Now I'm going to be computing it based on this top left corner. So this is going to be my bearing, which is going to be very strange because it's going to make me want to turn to the right, assuming that my target bearing is like here, right? So now it's going to make me want to turn the wrong direction, which is kind of weird. Let's give it a roll anyway, just to make sure that I'm correct. If it works perfectly, then great. I won't complain. We should hit some forest down here. Man, position, 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 position. Position, position, position. My God. It's a good thing I don't get paid based on spelling position correctly. I think we're gonna hit water before we hit any trees. Yep. So good. Get stuck on a rock after all this work. Yeah. Yeah, just as I thought. All right. headphones hurting my head. Okay, let's have a look in here. AI steering behaviors. Collision avoidance. Okay, so only the closest obstacle is used in this particular algorithm. Interesting. So they slow down as they approach, which is not really a thing that we would do. So a couple different things happening in this case. So first of all, they're only considering the closest obstacle, which is one good improvement. And then the second thing they're doing is slowing down when they get near an obstacle, so that the steering force can kind of take over. Yeah, the other thing is that they do the seek, so they do the direction, which is cool. We could also add a wander. This is basically exactly what we're doing, by the way. Except that we don't have really control over the speed, so we don't have a max speed. Oh, they also divide it by mass. Interesting. So they limit it based on... we basically do that as well with our max steering force. So that just gives some inertia to you guys, which probably makes it look way better. So if I only consider the closest one, that might actually make a really good improvement. Okay, let's do it. So in here, we have already got this has collision variable. So first of all, in here we'll say has collision. This is for each entity. Actually, so of these entities, we want to get the closest one. Here we're saying if not has collision, we're going to select... Okay, yeah, great. So we do actually want to put something in here if there are any entities, but we want to get the closest one of them, right? So let's just say if number of entities is greater than 0, has collision equals true. Okay, so now that means we won't actually hit anything else once we hit, even if there's other feelers, even if first feeler, whatever. Also, hopefully this pairs will give me from I being 1, so that will increment based on that, which is what we want as well. Oh, I probably only have about 10 minutes before I need to get going. Okay, well, hopefully we can make enough improvement here to make this work. Okay, so then we want the closest of these entities. So let's just say entities 1. This is if greater than 0, so let's do this, put that down here. And indent all of that. Okay, great. So now for each entity, we're going to get the distance to that entity. So that will be util.distance, right? Pretty sure I used it. In here, maybe? Yes. If util distance player position entity position is less than Okay, now we can't really do J anymore because we don't have J. We were kind of ignoring J anyway. Oh no, we were using it. Okay. Okay. Okay, so now we're only considering the closest one obstacle that we can be hitting. Okay, let's give that a roll. And syntax error. Okay, well, or no obstacles at all. There are some trees over here which we're probably going to hit, so. What happened here? Well, shit. Okay, so maybe I need to put a feeler on my body as well. Put a feeler on my body. That is an unfortunate and weird edge case. Yeah, so now here, why am I not trying to turn? Oh, I am. You can see it's like flickering left and right here. So this is a case of the turning force not being enough. The other one was a case of, I guess, not turning enough before we got to the point of flipping around. So we could just dial up the max turn rate again. I feel like I've been just playing with this max turn rate the whole time. No. The question is, would you be able to fit through that slot? I think you would. Oh no, he would not. Okay. I mean, I'm getting the collision here, right? I wish it was like a next frame button. Yeah, so now I'm getting a collision here and steering back that way. Alright, well let's add one more feeler right on my body. So num projections will make that 6 so that we have an extra one. And then on the feelers, you create it. This is going to be I-1. And then here we're going to be sending 0, which is going to be 1/0. So what about if we put inside here? Oh, no, no. No, that won't give you 0. It'll give you 1. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. Cool. So now there's a feeler on my body. The problem is I couldn't just get around this problem by saying, oh, I'm going to create a map that has no trees or no water on it, because you need those things in order to play it. Oh, that's unfortunate. I get stuck on a single tree now? Hmm. Hmm. So now I think this is the turning force being too high. Start in the middle of a forest. Now there's gonna be no trees between me and my target again. There we go. No, that was actually not too bad, I gotta say. That was a valiant effort. Am I doing the min in here still? So I could actually turn this turn rate way up. I could make the turn rate like 180, although it's already like 100. Which means that, like, if he hits something, he could just flip around entirely. But he'll probably just flip a turn by half of whatever he needs, or half of the distance to get it turned around. Were there any trees? No trees. Here we go, here's some trees. This doesn't make any sense. So when you're here, why do you not turn right more? Bro. Or even if you want to turn left, right? Like, I'm looking at the center of this feeler box. Is here. And the bearing is this way. The center of this tree is here. So it means it's on my left. Right? So why do I not turn right? I guess I do have a log pile. It tells me what he wants to do. Applying negative steering force, which will make me turn left. Just gonna move this so I can see it while the game is running. Okay. I think here's what I'm going to do. So I think I'm on the right track. I think this is the correct, like the steering force model is the correct model. Of course, it's still going to be possible for them to get stuck in inside of a forest full of trees. I don't really know what the best way to get out of that is going to be. But what I want to do is maybe implement like that vector and velocity kind of model. So maybe if his speed is slowing down, then yeah, if his speed is slowing down, then maybe he only moves once every other tick, something like that. Yeah, because then that gives me a little more granularity and a little fine-grained control over the thing, so I can make him speed up away from the target rather than just constantly running in one direction. So I'm going to work on that. I've been streaming for a couple hours, and it's now 9:30. I have to go to work. So sorry, everybody, if you're just tuning in. Green Dragon in chat asked, I'm making an AI that can start from scratch and to go into launching a rocket. Yes, that is the ultimate goal, is that the AI can do everything from scratch. I've done a couple other streams. Check out either my Twitch or YouTube account. You'll see. And basically I'm working on Pathfinding, so that later when I'm getting into more strategic goals around like, you know, going to fetch resources or build particular buildings or modules of the base or anything like that, then the player will be able to sort of navigate itself to that place. Right now the player very easily gets stuck on trees and water. Let me turn off the collision rectangles as well. Gets stuck very easily on the trees and the water, which is a little bit frustrating if you're saying, hey, go and get some iron ore, and then this kind of shit happens. Makes it very hard to for the AI to do anything. Unfortunately, Factorio does not really come with any built-in pathfinding for the character. I have some other ideas for like hacky ways that I could get it working, but I'm not going to do that. But anyway, with all that said, I think that'll be enough for today. Thanks very much for watching, and if you're around next time, I might actually stream later tonight. Keep working on it. See, this kind of crap. If I want to do is I want to slow down my move vector and then go around them. Anyway, okay. Thanks very much, everybody, for watching. I will see you all next time I stream. Until then, have a good one.